Wow. Um, I don't know what's happened here, but there's already 3 viewers, like, before I even hit go live. And I didn't schedule this thing. So maybe YouTube is putting out announcements before I've even taken a picture for the thumbnail. But you guys, uh, yeah, I was just posing with this sticker that says "Voting changes history" for the thumbnail, and you guys are already here. And Dan's like, "I'm awake, I'm awake," you know. So I've been clearing out some of my YouTube related, uh, the joke paraphernalia, that I've had up there, and I'm just putting up random paintings of mine. And so I'll be mailing out to some of my good friends and Patreon donors some of the paintings that I've had up there, and even probably some of those as time goes on. I'll be needing the space as I will be painting as the months drag on, and I'm quarantined and I can't even go get something from Dairy Queen, even though I've got a craving from hell right now. Sorry if any of you, uh, have a craving for ice cream like that. Um, Jamie Demeter wants me to talk about uh, DPR Jones right off the bat. Not even the title thing, but I like to save whatever I put it in the title for, like, after the first 10 minutes so that people can file in and talk to me, because I'm trying to use this as social media, not as actually a publishing platform. So I just like talking to you guys. Um, so talk about DPR Jones. What did he die of? Is he in hell? Is he a bad person like Happy Cabby, who was more popular? Um, hmm. Uh, I think in many ways, uh, you have to acknowledge that DPR Jones did a lot of good for the atheist community in the years that I knew him and the years that I did not know him. Okay, he was revered very well by a lot of people. I do not know how DPR Jones died. I find it very strange that no one who knew uh, that he had died wanted to talk about it for a couple months. Um, it makes me wonder a little bit more how he died. And especially what I found weird was Aaron Ra put up a video, and I watched it, and it had a montage of uh, different DPR Jones meetings that Aaron Ra had had, and different DPR Jones moments. And then at the end, he kind of just dismissively says, and, I don't know how he died, and, it really doesn't matter. And I'm like, mm, so you're his friend for fucking years, and it doesn't matter how your friend died? Wow. Wow. You know, I know that you guys are probably feeling the same way as me when you see Aaron Rock say that it doesn't matter how he died. I don't have to know. I think he's just trying to get people to not question how he died, and maybe there was something unique about it. But do I think that it was something that would be, uh, you know, questioning of his character? Maybe not. You know, do I think any less of David Carradine for having died of sexual asphyxiation, the autoerotic asphyxiation thing? No, he had a fetish. You know, that doesn't mean that the show Kung Fu was any less fucking badass. You know, so however he died, Unless it was something heinous, I don't think it's going to, if it was a little embarrassing, then I don't think it's going to affect his legacy on YouTube at all. Um, I did have disagreements with him in the past, which made me not want to be a part of certain things. But you know, uh, I've decided not to piss on someone's grave and talk about the disagreements I've had with him, because he's gone now. He can't defend himself. You know, and I had some conversations with some of my friends on my Discord about that, but I don't want to be putting it out there now. I mean, I think now is just the time to just recognize, hey, this guy who was instrumental in like the Magic Sandwich Show, and he was a big part of that Venom Fang X reading the apology video that is just historic. You know, he was a big part of that whole era. So I can't deny that of him. But let's see, what are you saying? Poseidon says, will they hold a Democratic convention this year, or are they afraid to croak Biden, Pelosi, Feinstein, etc.? I don't know. I was kind of upset that I wasn't going to be a delegate because I didn't know what time my own precinct caucus was held, right? They changed the time from like 7 p.m. as it was the year before, or sorry, 2 years before, to 3 p.m., which was right in the middle of some group therapy sessions that I was running. And I thought I was going to get out of those sessions at around 4:30, have time to come home, change, maybe eat some dinner, and go to my caucuses. And that day I was looking up and I was like, wonder where they're located. It was around lunchtime, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to make them. This sucks because they changed the time of day that they're being held. Little did I know that the congressional assembly, the county assembly, the state assembly, the judicial assembly, all those assemblies, and then the Democratic National Convention, all of those are pretty much hosed by coronavirus. So I guess I didn't miss out on much. I was really wanting to get my delegate credentials again and participate in the process. But yeah, I doubt they're going to want to have them. And maybe on some level, they're thinking, we can't have the candidates possibly catch coronavirus. So we got to sequester them. I mean, Joe Biden was just on Jimmy Kimmel's show from his home studio that they've made, which is about as professional looking as mine. He's got lighting rig and he's got a camera and stuff, but it's basically his home study. Hi, Phantom Lion. Hi, Alan. Hi, everybody who's shown up. Alan wants me to paint pictures of dead COVID-19 patients. Now, I don't know what you mean by that exactly. Because in some places that I've worked before, I've had to deal with billing wanting me to call people patients, and then billing wanting me to call people clients in other places. So are you talking about like my own clients who will die? Because statistically speaking, with the number of clients that I have, running as many group therapy sessions as I do, and with the wide range of ages that are in them, statistically speaking, I'm going to have someone die in my groups. It's going to hit one of them. So are you talking like me personally losing a patient or client and then painting them, or do you mean like the scene of like somebody died of coronavirus and the ambulance is taking them out of the house, and like the firemen are in hazmat suits, something like that. Oh, the Already Dead for Remembrance. Okay, well, if some family member of somebody wants me to paint a portrait of their loved one who has passed away from coronavirus, let me know. And the first, we'll say 10 of them, I'll do absolutely free and make a video of it and put it up here on my channel. And whatever people you guys know that have uh, family members that have lost somebody who want me to paint a portrait in the styles that I do, um, just let me know. I am warming up my art table, and it won't be that hard. And then you can take that video and clip out the part that is just about the person that you want, and then use it on your Instagrams and Facebooks and stuff. Poseidon says Prince Charles is near death, and I need to get ready to paint him. Prince Charles. If I do paint Prince Charles, I will mail that to Brian J. 1962 so he can hang it in his house. That's nice, Mike. Proctor Hawk. Welcome, Proctor. It's been a while since I've seen you live. Poseidon says I'd be the youngest delegate. No. I actually know other delegates that are younger than me. Last time I was a delegate, it was Tay Anderson was also a delegate, and now he's like the superintendent of Denver schools. Like he's been trying to be a politician for a while now, and he just immediately, as the lockdowns were happening, and the first thing that happened was the spring break for Denver schools was extended by like 3 weeks, and he saw it coming, and he's like, okay, yeah, the school might be shut down, but you can always pick up a grab and go lunch from school. So he kept on all of the cafeteria workers to make like grab and go lunches through this whole time. And I know him, and he's younger than me. Oh, you're just kidding. You got to tell me that you're just kidding. You know, I take you guys all serious all the time. Yeah, I think I'd be ready to paint Prince Charles if he were to pass away. That's a no-brainer. But also, I was thinking about getting a volleyball delivered through Amazon, and then like recreating the Castaway Wilson volleyball, where like he was going stir crazy from having no one to talk to, and just having Wilson like up here, and especially if Tom Hanks in his case were to go south with him having the coronavirus, I think it would have a double meaning. You know, Ivan says his cat is a living stress ball. Alan just linked me the entertainment coronavirus celebrity deaths. I heard that some chef died today, some celebrity chef. I hadn't heard of him before. All right, we've got enough people, and now I think we can have the discussion. So I first saw this on the Secular Talk channel, but then I saw it on the Hill the very next morning that there is a woman named Tara Reid Tara Reid. She says that Joe Biden sexually assaulted her and tried to, push himself upon her. And so there's now a trend on Twitter for hashtag Time's Up Biden, right? Just like the Time's Up Me Too movement is now being focused on him. But the mainstream media is not covering it one bit, right? So the mainstream media, when they don't cover something like this, when it's trended for a couple days now, and like all the left wing, like the far left wing places have now talked about it a little bit, it's weird that no mainstream credible journalist will take up the story, right? And by weird, I mean like, of course they're avoiding it because they don't want to affect the election, by giving Joe Biden negative press, right? But I've so far seen this story on video with Secular Talk and The Hill, but I've also seen blog style editorials on The Intercept, uh, Vox News. Now, see, Vox, they could make a video of this, or a video about it, and reach a whole bunch more people than they would on their website making a blog about it, right? So the fact that they're only putting it on their website, um, to me, it says something. And like the story had to come out, on a very small podcast in the first place where it was broken, and the person who broke the story was an obvious Bernie Sanders supporter. So is um, The Intercept, and so is Secular Talk and The Hill, and so all the media outlets that are covering this, they'll even admit their Sanders bias. Refinery 29 also, they've talked about it, and so far no big outlets are talking about it. So yeah, it's strange that these these politicians will say that they're for something and then be totally against it. And even Elizabeth Warren, who I very early on, like 3 years ago, said that I thought she should be the nominee uh, this go around against Trump. She was all about campaign finance reform, and all in on that. And then this political season turns out that her PAC had a donation of $14.6 million from one person. And, you'd hope that that one person wouldn't be a corporation, whereas they would be beholden to him. And what it turns out, it's just a psychiatrist in California who she wants to support women candidates. So the whole, bias that she would have to have thereafter would be that she'd have to stay a woman, which I don't think will be a problem for her. But still, she is using the super PAC end around that Bernie Sanders will not use. And so I think if she could have done it the Bernie Sanders style of just small contributions, if she could have stayed in the race as long as she did without taking big money, she would have. But it turned out that she just couldn't generate the support that she needed. And so she buckled. And now we have Democrats and media establishments that will say, believe women, hashtag believe, listen and believe, right? And then when it comes down to the candidate that they have settled on, as far as who they want to run against Trump, because they want not Bernie Sanders, but they want it to be an establishment Democrat. They settle on one, and when they find out that there's a credible Time's Up Me Too story that's breaking about that person, they're silent. And they don't want to report on it. Right? And for days, people have been retweeting at all of the big news outlets, all of their reporters, Rachel Maddow, Chris Matthews. People have been sending this story to them, and they have not picked it up. Poseidon says Weinstein's ex-publicist runs the Hollywood Me Too Defense Fund and told Biden's accuser to fuck off. The entire Democratic Party is corrupt. You know, at this point, I've basically conceded that Trump is probably going to win another term, right? The reason why I've conceded this is because although I am not Bernie or bust, I know that it went that way in the last election where people were not going to vote for Hillary Clinton the way that they would come out and vote for Bernie Sanders. And I feel it's the same way in this election. Bernie cannot control his supporters and then endorse Joe Biden last minute like he did Hillary Clinton by pushing his campaign until it's finally over, until it's like not even just like statistically 1,000 to 1 shot, until he absolutely has no shot because Biden has enough delegates to clinch. He's not going to give up, right? If he waits till then and then says, oh, well, we still want to beat Trump, even if we can't have anything that I campaigned on, a lot of his supporters are not going to follow because they see Biden as, pretty close to being Trump. And the fact that Biden is ridiculed on SNL as being a little too handsy already because it's basically an open secret that he's got stories like this about him makes him even more like Trump. And Jamie Demeter says, and that's why Trump will win. Other than that, the whole coronavirus thing, I'm sorry to say, but just like a war, people are not very likely to change horses midstream. They're going to want the security of knowing that it's the same president throughout the entire crisis. That's why some presidents have started wars. That's why I figure Trump was poking Iran for a while there, just trying to get something started so that people would, keep voting for him. It's happened many times in my lifetime that some sort of war effort happens. And this coronavirus is basically like 9/11, only we're about to have a plane fall out of the sky every day for 2 months. Like, seriously, we have right now the worst rate of increase in deaths of all the top 10 countries that are infected because our death rate is doubling every 3 days as far as new cases of deaths. Okay, every 3 days, the new deaths of the day is double what it was 3 days ago. That's how fast it's growing here. Now, say in Spain and Italy, it's every 6 days it doubles. Right, so we're gaining in the death rate. Like we're not locked down as hard as other countries. Half of our states are not locked down at all. Alabama openly refuse. Their governor refuses to lock down, and he said, "Well, the reason why is we're not California." You know, I've seen so much stupidity come out in the wake of this. Like yesterday, I talked about the marching in Alexandria, Egypt. And what were they marching against? They were protesting coronavirus, which immediately reminded me of how my university wanted to have an auditorium meeting about how to catch coronavirus. I was like, no, I'll pass because that would be just too ironic to catch this virus in the place that you're supposed to learn about how to catch the virus. No, I'm not going to do that. Dinah says, on the other hand, the death rate of Trump supporters will be triple that of Democrats, so that may be what beats Trump. I don't know because Trump won with the Electoral College's help. He lost by a couple million votes, right? So, as far as the popular vote, and if he just keeps the same states, he's going to win with the Electoral College thing in place. So he can actually stand to lose, more old people than Democrats lose old people, and maybe still retain his Electoral College outcome. And Poseidon saying Miami and New York City and San Francisco are all old Democrats. Let me tell you how this is going to go down. They're going to have huge death rates in those cities, yes, but they have more people. So it's going to be very visible. They're going to get the word out. They're going to lock that city down, right? But in the states that refuse to lock down at all, they will, in the end, outpace the deaths in those big cities. They're going to have small communities that just get wiped out. And by wiped out, I mean the things got, on average, the World Health Organization says 3.4% death rate. Spain this morning had, over 10% death rate because they have older people. And Alan says socialism is coming about because the weakness of the GOP has run off to lobbyists and cannot be controlled by anyone. I don't think that we're going to have a complete socialist economy ever. It's just going to have to necessarily take care of the little guy. We're going to have some sort of socialism in our economy, but I don't think that it's going to be ever a place where you can't amass wealth. That hope will be something that people won't have. Greed will still be okay in the USA. It's just that we're going to have a basic modicum of respect for human beings, and everyone's going to at least have, a studio apartment and be able to have rice and beans for dinner. Phantom Lion wants to know, why is there a bot of doubt? Okay, so I was using Discord in order to learn how a certain person was being stalked online, and I created, through programming, my own bot that was kind of like the Me6 bot that you could get kind of stock for use on Discord in order to announce anytime somebody was uploading a video. And so I created the bot of doubt just for my own uses, and I was using zip links and stuff like that just to make it so that my favorite people, my inner circle of favorite people, I would always know where their videos were, and I was kind of just practicing with them first. So on my Discord chat, in the general thing, anytime I upload a video, it'll be there. I also, just to test, I was picking on Michelle Knight because she moved from YouTube to Vimeo. And so just to test my ability to track someone on Vimeo, I also added her, you know. And so it was just an exercise in could I program this, you know. And now that people have a lot of free time at home, I think a lot of nice projects like that will also pop up. I think without all the other YouTube stuff, I think my little shitlord display up here with the toilet paper roll stands out a little bit more right above my head. I might have to move that. Huh. Anyways, AOD finally admits he's a Russian bot. I did not sabotage Hillary. Mike, YouTube detective. I all I wanted to know was how it's done, because there are some people here on YouTube that are stalked so well as uh, lol cows, right? Lol's cows, and so hello, concerned commoner. I just wanted to know how they were doing it, because sometimes somebody can upload a video and immediately within the first 5 minutes get way more down thumbs than they even have views, which is really strange to me that somebody would go through the trouble of stalking someone just to down thumb them. You know, it seems to me like that there's a lot of passion that people have in following their lol scows. So I just decided I wanted to know how they were using technology in order to make their cyberbullying a little bit more potent, you know. Um, and I ended up just making it so people who are on my Discord always get a notification of when I've uploaded a new video. And it works better than the YouTube subscription page, because you don't get like spotty notifications, just here and there. You get every one of them. All you have to do is make zip links from someone's YouTube page and have them sent to your bot, and presto changeo, you can create your own subscriptions page where you don't get told by the YouTube algorithm, you know what, you probably don't want to watch this thing that you're subscribed to. Phantom says he had a down thumb stalker for a while and he thinks he might still have one. I think I've tried to name my down thumb stalkers before. Sometimes I wonder if they're still alive if they don't down thumb in a while. I'm like, oh no, what if they passed away? Hopefully they're just on vacation. Propter Hawk says, is Mike a hacker now? No, not at all. A lot of the things that I used to put together my bot were still off the shelf. They just weren't completely put together like the Me 6 bot is, that you can just go to their website and plug in your Discord and get the bot. I decided that even the Me 6 bot was not as good as some other bots that I'd seen, and I wanted to find out uh, how they were tracking videos that weren't even uploaded, because YouTube somehow puts out notices that somebody has a scheduled video, and they put out feed that says you've uploaded a video, and it could be an unlisted video that you're uploading and you don't want anyone to see it. But if you didn't select unlisted right away, then people can still find it if they have a feed attached to your channel. So videos that people weren't intended to be able to see have been seen in this method. Proctor says that's exactly what a hacker would say. Um, Brian J 1962 has 10 times the programming ability, and so does Michelle Knight. I know that I don't know a lot because I know people who do, and I'm always asking them questions. You know, when I'm working on a project for a website, uh, I'm usually asking Brian a couple questions because I know what I want to get done, and then implementation sometimes suffers. Like right now, I have not been able to figure out, and I haven't put much thought into it since I just let the bot run. But it was like 6 months ago, I added Michelle Knight's Vimeo feed to my Discord chat. And instead of having spaces in between each uh, bit of information that's coming through, I have the video title with proper spaces in the name, and then the last part will say no space between the last word and the next word being by, and then no space, and it'll be Michelle Knight. And so, like, I have not figured out why my spaces are not between those words. It still gives me the notification, but I have some shoddy programming that I did, and now I don't have spaces in between those words, and it looks embarrassing when I know that I'm surrounded by people who have better skills than I do. Um, hey, you used to be Hippo 11222. I do remember you. Hopefully, you didn't just show up to learn that DPR Jones died. Um, that's been some news for the last 24 hours to a lot of us, you know, and that he died last January, and people were keeping this a secret from the rest of the YouTube community for God knows what reason. Oh my goodness. Yes, principled uncertainty. If you're feeling any bad feelings about that, you're welcome to jump on YouTube, and I'll talk with you. But hopefully, that's not so much of a painful shock that you can't take it. But yes, DPR Jones passed away in January, and the people who are closest to him either say they don't know how he died or they won't let on. Propter Hawk says this reminds me of the days he used to build flashlights for people. I'd have the basic scripts and then a whole lot of code until things worked. Unfortunately, Flash isn't going to be supported anymore. Um, and all those Flash sites might stop working in a year or two. That sucks. I mean, there's a lot of work people have put into a lot of different places that just aren't going to be usable anymore. So Ellen says you could paint the Winnie the Pooh funeral that happened the other day. I didn't know that Winnie the Pooh died. What happened that I don't know about? So, along with Biden's time's up moment not being reported by the mainstream media, I think another thing that is not getting enough press right now is Trump's directorate to the vice president that people who are ungrateful they need to not be talking to and working with during this disaster. And in particular, they're talking about Cuomo, right? Because they asked for like 40,000 ventilators and they got 400. And Cuomo was like, where's the rest? Are you happy? Because we're not. We asked for a lot more ventilators, right? And Cuomo was being like really ungrateful for the little amount of ventilators that he got. So, um, I feel like that's not getting enough uh, news coverage because this pettiness needs to be stopped. You know, we can't be having this in a time of crisis where people are worried about how people are reacting to uh, these shortages and reacting to the lack of resources and how government can't get them things fast enough. I mean, people are dying and they're going to die in massively more numbers in New York. And the governor of New York is going to be under a lot of stress. And he's going to say some shit, right? And reporters are going to catch him saying the shit. He's going to be screaming, help, help, help. You know, that's not enough. I need more help. And so for the president to say, if they're not going to be grateful when we help them, uh, don't help them anymore. Don't even talk to them. That's some uh, shitty help. That is so petty, and it is very much like Trump to not associate with people who aren't being nice to him, both in the media and in politics. But damn. So initially, I thought that this story was just about uh, Andrew Cuomo from New York. But what I've found out in doing some digging is that actually the federal government has been taking things from Michigan that they ordered. So they ordered a whole bunch of medical supplies, a whole bunch of ventilators and stuff. And so their orders are now being sent to the federal government instead of Michigan, the people who had it ordered first. And so, um, hours after Trump was saying, you know what, I think that New York is going to have enough ventilators. I think they just think that they need more, but they don't actually need them. Um, he then puts in an order for like 40,000 ventilators. And then he cancels an order for ventilators because he wants to haggle about the price. I wish I was joking, you know? And all of this has happened today. And just the speed at which people are dying makes all of these stories get buried, right? Um, the story where Trump's own words day after day are being played in an ad, uh, and Trump's trying to get that ad taken down, and the Guardian was covering that story very well. and probably because they don't have a lot to lose from, the outside of our country perspective, just being outsiders looking in. They're doing a good job of covering that story, but that story gets a lot more traction because uh, it's basically one of the best Ponage videos ever put together because it's all his own words, and it's a timeline of how much his tone shifted over the course of a month, right? From saying that we've got it under control, it's only one or two cases, to things like the flu kills more people and whatnot. Yeah. Alan said Charlie Brown just died from coronavirus. I've painted Charlie Brown before, um, a couple times. There was a Banksy with Charlie Brown holding a gas can that I've painted, and also there's just the scene where Lucy is selling psychiatry for 5 cents. Poseidon says Biden's ponage videos are the best. He clearly has dementia. You know, I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. His dementia signs, but I don't think that it's a stuttering problem so much as it is old age catching up to him. But just 8 years ago, him versus Sarah Palin, he absolutely owned her in that debate. And just to see the difference between the guy that uh, was so good in a debate versus Sarah Palin 8 years ago, you know, versus the guy that we see now, you can see the decline. He definitely is older. Alan wants to do memes of a fake Trump, or Trump being dead now and that a fake Trump is in office. Oh, my ass is dragon says 12 years ago. Was it 12 years ago? Really? Hold on. 2008. Fuck. I'm getting old. My mind's not doing math for me. Yeah, 2008. You're right. 12 years ago. And Poseidon thinks that she's still hot. Okay, that's fine. So I think the next care package worth of paintings that I'll be sending out will be going to Hatred 42. Shh, no one tell him. And maybe if I'm lucky, he'll open the package within a month of receiving it because he'll probably have some quarantine uh, whole spiel to go through as far as like he'll have to bring it in and then set it in some part of the house and like leave it there for a month so that all the virus that's possibly on it will die, you know, and like even the things inside of it, he might disinfect everything that I put in there, and like I don't know if my mediums will hold up to the stringent cleaners that he will put everything through because coronavirus. Phantom Lion says Michael will never have coffee together now. Uh, I'm sorry that you had to go out and buy a bigger coffee machine and then I didn't ever use it. I apologize. You know, I know that times are hard and that was probably like a $20 investment in me in case I would ever come to your neck of the woods. And now it's good. Like if my predictions are accurate, it's going to be another 2 years before I see anyone from the East Coast. You know, oh, it's not my fault. It's the damn virus. Okay, well, I'm willing to blame it on the virus if you're willing to blame it on the virus. We can both blame it on the virus. If anybody uh, on my old Patreon list of people that I've been mailing paintings to, if you get one of my paintings, you're also going to get one of my uh, stickers here. You got a whole bunch of them. I've been just using funny stickers as filler. You guys have seen me holding up a whole bunch of stickers before each video, you know. But yeah, I'm pretty stocked full of that particular phrase. Um, so if somebody wants one, let me know. Alan says that drinking coffee is burning the tropics and makes nerves too finite. Okay. Um, I'm willing to try whatever coffee replacement you have. Otto says those stickers are asking for trouble if I place them on my car. That's why I put them on other people's cars, man. You know what? I'm used to getting people in trouble on their cars. See this shit? See that? I'll put that on a car at a church just to see some windows get bashed in because that's how I roll. You don't even know, man. You ever see my favorite one? The one that I'm keeping that I'm not putting on anyone's car? Ah, it's that one right there. You had a Darwin fish torn off your car in Detroit. That's horrible. That is horrible. What I like to do is we have a lot of mega churches down in Colorado Springs, and so what I like to do is I have these pre-printed feet, right? And you can just put these feet underneath their existing Jesus fish to make Darwin fish out of their Jesus fish just to see them get their windshields bashed by their fellow church members. It's fucking awesome. I've left you guys shocked. Listen, life is all about shocking people, right? You gotta shock me. You gotta live life to the fullest. Even Phantom Lion says, "That's fucked up, Michael." Uh, what's funny is that I have the actual physical props to show you guys right now. That I've been doing this for a while. I love to people watch. You know, it's what happens when you get an education in you know the behavioral health fields. You start to just people watch, and you want to just like stir the pot, and then you become a shit stir. You know, I I used to be known as a pretty big shit stir around here. Now I've got like 17 people watching me. 18. Where the fuck did you all come from? It's after midnight. Oh yeah, none of us have anything better to do tomorrow because we're all fucking quarantined. I forgot. We're all on house arrest. Um, Phantom Lion says Michael and I were going to go rooftop golfing and mailbox baseball when he was going to visit. Um, hmm. Just like using a rooftop as a driving range. What are we trying to hit? Phantom Lion says his apartment has become a prison. Um, just like float through the walls then. You know, one day when I was babysitting my niece, this was almost 10 years ago, she came downstairs. She woke up from a nightmare and she was crying and she said, "I had a nightmare and me and Iron Man were tied to a pole and the water kept on rising in the room and they locked the door and the water just kept on rising." And I looked at her and I said, "Well, why didn't you tell Iron Man to just shoot the door down? He's Iron Man." And she looked at me and she's like, "Oh." And she went back up the stairs and she went to sleep. That's what I'm talking about, Phantom Lion. If your apartment is a prison, you need to just like float right through the wall and like be Phantom Lion. Proctor, you've been making music all night, every night? That's awesome. Poseidon wants to give you some tips about how to make it through the shower in case your apartment became a prison like that. Um, it's 9 a.m. in Germany. Is Schildroth a German name? Huh. So I do have a couple of things that I've picked up that I can't use now because one of them was just a spray bottle with fake blood in it. Like you all know what fake blood is. It's like corn syrup with red dye in it, right? But I have it in a spray bottle. And what I was going to do was just put my spray bottle like right where a booty hole would be if it was spraying blood. And I was going to spray like the whole back of the seat in places in order to make it look like somebody had farted a spray of blood. And I can't do that now because I'm stuck at home and the only person I can joke and prank is myself. And then I'd have to clean up that stuff. And it's sticky sugary because it's made out of corn syrup, right? Phantom Line has a problem with me saying the word booty hole. You want me to use proper terminology? The anus, about the same plane that you would see the anus getting up off the toilet seat. That's where I was going to spray the spray blood. Um, oh, Poseidon wants to know whatever happened to my mechanical cockroach. Well, I was working in a office where I had pranked a lot of people with my mechanical cockroach, and I had left my cockroach in the drawer of my office, and it was a shared office. So, on a different shift, other people would use my office, and then on days that I wasn't working on the same shift, people were using my office, and they got tired of being scared of my mechanical cockroach, and it disappeared. I did get pretty much everyone at my work, though. I need TP for my bunghole. Yes, Phantom Lion, I had a remote control mechanical cockroach, and there's a video on this YouTube channel of this RC cockroach where, because the way that I ordered it, it had these red lights. So I didn't want the red lights to go off to let people know that it was a toy. So I opened it up and I painted the LED light that was red. I painted it black so that it wouldn't give off any light anymore, but it would still work. And then I put it all together. And so, uh, yeah, it became a little bit more threatening because it didn't have that red light to let people know that it was a prank. And so when I chased people with it, it uh, it gave them a little bit more of a scare. Poseidon wants to know if I've ever watched Westworld. No, no, I haven't. Apparently, I have to watch Breaking Bad now that coronavirus has me home for weeks. I should finally watch that because I'm an addiction counselor who's never watched Breaking Bad. So, unless there's some drug dealing that goes on in Westworld, it has no priority over me finally getting to watch Breaking Bad. And I've got some schoolwork to do before I even watch the Breaking Bad show. And apparently, I need to watch it before this thing happens in Better Call Saul because some chick that is in Better Call Saul was not in uh, Breaking Bad, and they think that that chick is about to get killed, and so that would be like right before they merge the two storylines to where that has to happen, and that's like the last thing before the cast will be able to merge, and it'll be like a prequel that's like gone right up to that day, and then they might have some side stories, but um, I don't know. I'm just being told by coworkers that I need to get caught up. Propter says I should watch Colossus: The Forbidden Project. Okay, and Androids versus Humanity. Phantom Lion wants to know where I was when Breaking Bad was happening. Um, I think I was just avoiding it because I had some bad run-ins in life with people who were doing meth. Meth, it destroyed a lot of my high school friends. And the time in my life before I joined the Army, when I was 16 to 18, I watched a whole bunch of lives get destroyed by it. And it popped up again in my life with some family members in I want to say 2008 was when it popped up, and it had to be handled. you gotta nip that in the butt and like strap someone down and kick them in the nuts. And then, yeah, I just had this around the same time that show came out. I just had this uh, aversion to anything about meth. Phantom Line is still sad that we're never going to be able to join forces and fight evil. Um, okay, maybe I'm Marvel and you're DC. And Phantom Lion says there's no appeal. It turns you into an asshole. When my ass is dragon says, "What's the appeal of meth?" You know, other than it looks like a really good weight loss program, it does its job. Nothing. So let's see. Phantom Lion brought this up, and I wanted to share this with you guys because it is so fucking hilarious. Like, these secret news things happen. They're not secret. They're just like underreported. So I'm going to throw this in the chat right here. So, oh shit, it's not going to let me because it's like 280 characters. Okay, here we go. Shorter version. So, Senator John Kerry decided to put out a tweet today. This was 16 hours ago. He says, breaking news, Congressman Massey has tested positive for being an asshole. He must be quarantined to prevent the spread of his massive stupidity. He's given new meaning to the term hashtag masshole. It's that is a senator that is saying that. That's the world we live in right now. I left you guys the link. It's right there. Yeah, masshole. Anyways, it's been over an hour. You guys know me. I'm just trying to give you guys an hour of my day every day. I am halfway through a book that I'm reading for one of my classes, and it's called The Schopenhauer Cure. It's by Yalom. And if you guys wanted to follow along and get the same sort of education about counseling and psychotherapy that I'm getting, it's another one of the books that I think is essential to what I'm learning. So pick it up. You can even find it as a free ebook on like an EPUB website. It's easy to search on Google. It's called The Schopenhauer Cure. Miss Red Eyes, I'm not I have a degree in psychology, but I'm not a licensed psychologist. I'm a registered psychotherapist and a certified addiction counselor. And I know that like all of that is just a whole bunch of gobbledygook. I work in behavioral health. Proctor Hawk, he raises and he says that he is reading Mad Magazine Don Martin special. Oh, okay. Um, well, sorry, Miss Red Eyes. I'm not going to be streaming for much longer because it's time for me to go. Uh, I'll be back tomorrow night, same time. I like to cross over midnight with everybody else, Denver time. Um, oh yeah, and I'm going to be painting pictures of people who die. Apparently, that's a thing that I'm doing now because that's what you guys want me to do. Um, let me know if my talents are needed. Talk to you guys later.